Hello and welcome back to the Spin Rock Podcast. I'm your host, Angel, and with me today are my co-hosts.
Eugene?
And Vaughn.
All right, we Loki don't have a lot to get into besides our main topic, but as y'all may or may not know, we bring it up every once in a while, but we actually do like each other, believe it or not. So we do talk in the group chat we have, and I don't know how many of you know the news, but Anthony Edwards has so far accumulated $285,000 total in season fines. And Eugene asked, is it going to be over under 600K? I said under. I think Vaughn also said under. Eugene, you said over, right?
I'm betting the over. By the end of the season, I think he'll have over 600K.
Well, okay. Why don't you explain why you're over before we explain under? Because you're the alone on the over part.
Bro, like he just doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
his demeanor ever since he's entered the league has always been, you know, like he doesn't give a fuck. But then after this FIBA summer that he had, I feel like he, obviously has proven himself more. But that also gave him, I guess, more of a chip on his shoulder or whatever. And like he feels like he can do whatever he wants. Now the NBA is putting him in check because obviously, 200K by not even halfway of the season is crazy. They're trying to do the best they can, but there's only so much that the NBA can do. And he knows how much money he's making. So at the end of the day, like 200, 300K right now is like nothing to him. And later down the line, when he gets his super max, like it'll be whatever. But I don't think anyone's gonna put him in check. The NBA certainly can't. I guess unless it's one of his parents. But yeah, nah, I that's what I think. I just think he's just gonna keep doing him, keep being Anthony Edwards.
I think I don't know. I think the only difference between mine and Vaughn's unders is I think he'll get close, but I don't think he'll hit it. I think he's gonna hit some like 575 kind of thing, like barely like miss it. But I just like, bro, if you're hitting 600K in fines, bro, like that's insane.
And
At
he's
that point,
early in his
stop
career
fining him.
too.
Start giving that man suspensions or something. Like, there's gotta be a new rule where if you hit us, like every 100K is a game suspension or something like that, bro. Because no one should be that high.
No, literally. Yeah, it
Well,
is pretty crazy.
I think if they did start doing game suspensions, Ant would cool down because then it just affects the team. And the team is in
Yeah.
a spot where they can't really lose him at any point. So I think that's always a danger and something to watch out for. But it is his money. And it might get close.
Yeah.
Like you could try and talk some sense in like what you could lose is potentially the same cost of a whole house. Like maybe then he'll cool it. But even then, if he just says fuck it all season and just it could reach over.
I also wanted to be like, bro, it would be so funny if the NBA took those fines and donated it to like a charity and just call it that. Like, but then at that point, you're only encouraging him not to chill out. At
Right.
that point, he's seeing it as like, oh, I have a green light to just keep doing whatever the fuck I want.
That is what they
Because
do with those fines, though. Is they donate to charity usually.
I
oh,
didn't
okay,
know that.
okay. I didn't know that either. I thought they like just like I don't know what they did with it, honestly. I just didn't.
So I guess that must be why players don't really care about being fined, like players and coaches. I mean, coaches care a little bit more, but every time it seems like a player gets fined, they're just like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
wonder if that's why their demeanor is when they get fined.
Bro, you gotta make the fines more expensive. Start making them shits an M.
And M is
These,
crazy.
well, because bro, gotta think about it. You're right. Like you kind of said it, Eugene. Like once he gets that super max, bro, 600,000 out of his fucking 130 million. Like, it's kind of an insane. Like that's such a drop in a bucket for him, which is insane that I'm saying that, but like still,
Right. Or like maybe like a percentage of, I don't know how they would do that, but percentage of whatever he
Oh
makes in
yeah,
that year or something. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's
yeah, I
smart.
don't know. I feel like they gotta figure out a better system or something. I don't know what that
Yeah,
could be
bro.
though.
I and it's
I love it actually. I hope he does go over on the 600K because he's very entertaining.
yeah, it's also this like it's not even like anything dumb. He's saying like no homo on TNT. Like that's like it's just like stuff that like you're like, bro, you're like it's just like stuff that your younger brother would say. It's like okay, like you're on national TV saying no homo, bro. Like you gotta chill out. All right, moving on to actual news. We're gonna start off with something smaller. The Suns have officially made a trade, um, and that is the Hornets receive a Kugie. I think is how you say his name.
Okogie.
Ogie, yeah.
Okogie and 3 second-round picks, and the Suns receive Nick Richards and 1 second-round draft pick. How do y'all feel about this trade? Do you think it'll do anything? Are the Suns still doomed?
Suns won't do any better.
Yeah, like what do you have to lose if you're the Suns? You got to do anything. And you can't play Yusuf Nurkic. I know that man got benched because he was playing so bad. I don't even know if he's playing anymore. So at least they have a starting caliber center. The only issue is Nick Richards is injured a lot. He misses a
Yeah,
lot of time. But at least he's there to grab rebounds and play defense, which is what the Suns really need. Um, and if you're the Hornets, whatever, you got those second round picks. You could do something with that maybe. But knowing their track record, like those are bench warmers or guys who are out the league in a year. Um, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm an Okogie hater, so I'm glad he's on the Hornets. He might do well on the Hornets given that they're all young or whatever. Provide like a good defensive maybe mindset for the team, be a good veteran or whatever, but I don't care for this trade. It's probably an L for both sides. Cuz
yeah.
again, who's trading with the Hornets anyway?
I think yeah, it is an L for both sides. As a Hornets fan, you know, I feel like all it does for the Suns really is just get like a better center, but like at the same time, Nick Richards is not that much better than Nurkic. He still struggles to score like 10 points a game, and that was on the Hornets, where you basically have a green light to just, do what you want to do. So also, yeah, like Vaughn said, he's out all the time. Like on the Hornets, especially, he was out all the time. I'm pretty sure this season he's only played like 15 games,
Jeez, bro.
if any, if even. Like it might even be like somewhat less, but he, yeah, I just think it's a weird trade. You're trading garbage for trash, like like it's I don't know. The Bradley Beal thing is really gonna mess with the Suns trying to remotely fix their what their team is going through right now. All right. And then the big piece of news that happened this Monday, Luca is no longer eligible for any postseason awards. How do y'all feel about this? Are you starting to does this make you hate the rule or like the rule more, or do you think you're kind of still thinking like, oh, I I still feel how I first felt? Like, how does that make you feel?
I still feel the same way, which was like I'm glad that it's a rule because
Mhm.
now it's unfortunate for Luca in his circumstance because due to injury and whatnot, but it's also interesting to see that he was like the first superstar, I guess, that it happened to, you know?
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, for the most part, I'm glad it's still a rule because as we've seen in the past, I think we've seen maybe even plenty of players, get awards that we kind of questioned why they got it or whatever. But um, Yeah, just stay healthy, Luca. There's always next year.
Um,
But I think this goes to say that SGA is pretty much a walk in the park for MVP this season.
Yeah, I kind of felt like even then SGA was the front runner,
Mm,
or at least pitted against Luca. First in the West, like it's probably if there was a tiebreaker, it would just go to SGA just based on that. But it does suck because other than that, Luca probably was a lock for an All NBA team at least.
mhm.
Because we're looking at the Mavericks right now, and they're sinking. They're sinking far and they're sinking fast without him. So it just goes to show how vital he is to that team, probably more than 99% of players in the league. But yeah, it is unfortunate this happened, but like it's a rule for a reason. Like now a guy who has been playing can get recognition. And we all know like the West is just full of talent. So maybe it'll give someone else a shine. Hint, hint, De'Aaron Fox, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it doesn't make me like it any more or any less, but I think it just solidifies that it's a good rule. Like, yeah. Yeah, and like Vaughn said, they're sinking so fast without him. And I feel like if I'm a Mavericks fan, bro, this is scary. Because, like, who knows if this is going to be a reoccurring injury this season? Because it might be, bro. Like, it seems like so far it is. Like, every time he's back, he's right back out.
mm. But
So,
what did I say for the resolution, bro?
no, that's true. That's true. Should have, yeah. All right. Moving on to our main topic, we're talking some trades. It's officially 2025, and this is when we're around the time where trades are getting discussed, players are demanding it, and just rumors start sparking like crazy. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll go because it's probably the most obvious in the room right now. Um, you know, I think Jimmy Butler obviously said that he wants to leave,
Yeah.
but where would he go? Now, mine are all kind of like what ifs slash dream trades because I don't know what anyone's cap space looks like. But I think if they still really want to and are trying to contend, which is actually kind of a perfect segue, I think the Mavericks should trade for Jimmy Butler. Now, it would help their team overall, I think, because whether you start Clay or bench Clay, obviously you're starting Jimmy Butler, and obviously you're starting Kyrie, at least in my head. And it seems like Clay didn't necessarily have a problem with coming off the bench in Golden State, but maybe that's a reason why he went to the Mavericks. I don't know. But I feel like whether you have Clay coming off the bench, which I think would probably be better for the Mavs' sake, get some scoring off the bench. But I think adding yet another superstar, which would then make this a super team, could help them win more games and score more points. With Luka being out for this long, you know what I mean? They could come back after All-Star break, rejuvenated, and maybe Jimmy could help them win more games. Now, who would they trade away? I don't know, but
It's tough because Jimmy is making almost $50 million a year, and no one comes close to that unless you're trading Luka or Kyrie. So you got to trade like 4 or more players to get this just to work.
mhm.
But the idea of Jimmy Butler playing along Kyrie and Luka is actually pretty exciting. Because like wherever Jimmy goes, you're either getting a spacing issue or just a volume scoring issue. But he does a lot of things, be it defense or even like playmaking. To like the reason why they made it to the finals twice, that man was doing a little bit of everything. So that would be such a good filler next to Kyrie and Luka. But man, 50 million is a lot to make up, at least for the Mavericks. I would like to see that happen. I think more than most teams. I don't want to see Jimmy on the Suns. I don't want to see Jimmy on the Warriors. But Jimmy on the Mavs, if it can be done, does make sense.
Right. It's just hard to see, like, especially with him demanding a trade, it's just hard to see, at least without knowing anyone's cap space, like, who's he going to go to? Who's going to trade for him? Who has enough to trade for him? You know what I mean? So I think the Mavs would be a good fit team-wise. There might be a couple other teams as well, but I think the Mavs would be the best fit.
Yeah. I didn't even think about him and the Mavs, to be honest, because I was just kind of thinking of like teams that like he himself said he like not himself, but like rumored that he wanted to go to. And I don't think the Mavs were one of them, so I didn't even think about that. But that could be fire, bro. I think the biggest problem is just like what will the Mavs give away, and also let's be honest now, the Heat are probably going to be asking for a lot, bro. Like the Heat definitely want to get their money's worth from this guy.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, he's worth it though. At the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Because some people are thinking he's not even going to leave until the summer.
Well, I think that's the issue. Is Jimmy Butler has a player option.
Yeah.
So if you trade for him, he can just leave immediately.
Yeah.
So I think every team thinking like I'm going to trade for you, I don't think the Heat are in a good position to trade for him. I think everyone could just, if you really want Jimmy Butler, you could probably just wait him out.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, like I'm hearing all like the rumors and stuff, and I kind of want it to be over. I hope we don't have to wait till the end of the season to see Jimmy move, but it could happen. I
No,
can
go on.
if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So for this trade, I'm like, I've been saying the Grizzlies should make some noise this year. And this trade they don't have to do, but I do think it at least helps the perimeter. And that's them trading for Cameron Johnson in exchange for Brandon Clark, John Conchar, GG Jackson, and a first-round pick. Now, I always love Brandon Clark on the Grizzlies, but they have a pretty sizable big man rotation between Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey, Jay Huff, and Santi Aldama. So they're set at the big man position. So they don't really need Brandon Clark. John Conchar getting rid of his contract to the Nets is actually a favor for the Grizzlies because he's got 3 years and he's just not playing, taking up $6 million in cap space. And if you don't want to give up a galore of first round picks, you got to give up young players. And as much as Grizzlies fans love GG Jackson II, I don't think there's space for him to grow to the player he has potential to be on the Grizzlies, considering they want like a deep playoff run now. They can't really wait for him to catch up. You ship him off, and now bringing Cameron Johnson, 3-point shooting, defense. Like the man is shooting like over 40% from 3-point range, 18 a game. He's kind of a better Michael Porter Jr. right now. I would like to see this at least bolster their offense. And this trade, at least you get to keep Marcus Smart, so you don't take any hit to your defense. And I think it's a very doable trade.
No, that's fire. Yeah, I think the two names that I feel like are for sure, or not for sure because of Jimmy Butler, like who knows, but like have been rumored the most is Jimmy Butler and Cameron Johnson. And I feel like, bro, if I'm any team who wants to make a deep playoff run, you got to look at Cameron Johnson. You got to like try to make that happen because he can add a lot to a team right now, bro. Especially a team like the Mavs who could use some space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he spaces the floor very, very well. And then on top of that, like you'd have Jaren Jackson, basically a pick and roll duo. And then you on the wings, you would have him and Desmond Bane. Like, bro, that's perfect. Pick and roll, pick and pop, pick, drive, cut, pop, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you could do anything with that offense. So that's a very good trade.
Yeah. And like the Nets, bro, the Nets are probably going to be giving him away they don't use him. They want those draft picks. You can probably get away with giving up like a couple draft picks and someone you never use for sure. Damn, y'all keep stealing my shit. I had Cameron Johnson and a Jimmy Butler trade, and y'all said both of them. Okay, I'm gonna go to kind of bias here, but the Nuggets, bro, they are not looking like championship contenders right now. Michael Porter Jr. is playing pretty hit or miss. Jamal Murray is more hot and cold than he's ever been before in the past. There are games where he's looking electric, and there are games where I'm like, this is the guy who sent the Lakers home. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's just crazy how hot and cold he is. Plus, like I've always bring up, we don't have enough bigs at all. So I really want the Nuggets to do a trade for somebody somewhere out there, and I think the one I feel like is most likely going to happen is probably the Raptors. You know, they're not doing so hot. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Chris Boucher, however you say his name.
Chris
Bro,
Boucher.
Boucher. That's what I thought, but I didn't know if that's how you said it for sure. Like, I heard that the Raptors are open to trading him and the Nuggets want him. And honestly, if we can get this a good big on our team to just really just help out in that area, that would be fire. I don't know who will trade because I feel like Michael Porter Jr. was up in trade talks and now he's back out of trade talks. So I have no idea who the Nuggets want to give up. And if I'm being honest, they're probably not going to end up trading for him because they don't want to ever give anything away. But I'm hoping that we actually pull this off.
I mean, that's the need we've been discussing for years, backup center for Jokic to take a breather because he's always huffing and puffing. Like, I think he holds the record for most minutes played in a game because of a double overtime game because he's got no one else to, like, support him off the bench. So,
hey, y'all got DeAndre Jordan, bro.
Out of here. And Boucher is the last Toronto Raptor from that 2019 championship, bro.
Really?
Yeah. None of the rest of those guys are left. So, you know, he knows what it looks like to win a ship, bro. I just really want them to get a big. And this year, there's a lot of not a lot of bigs, but the pool is just getting worse and worse for bigs because they all just kind of stay on their teams now, bro. Bigs aren't leaving as much as they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And we missed out on Portal. Like, we signed DeAndre Jordan for some reason. Like, I just feel like we need to find someone to really help us out. And I feel like he could do that.
So I guess for the other side, for the Raptors, do you think MPJ could do well on that team?
I don't know, dude. Well, one, I don't even think the Nuggets would give away MPJ. He's not in trade rumors anymore. They decided to keep him after all. Like, that's what I'm hearing is that, like, they're taking them off the market. So I don't even think the Raptors would get him if they accept a trade from the Nuggets. But if he is on the Raptors, that might actually be like just enough to give them some reason for fans to come to games. I'm not saying they're gonna win,
Yeah,
but at least they might sneak into play-ins now instead of hovering at the bottom.
I feel like he could, if that were to actually happen, I feel like it'd be like a Gary Trent situation when he first got traded and just went crazy for like a season or two.
Yeah,
I feel like that would happen, and then he just kind of slowly, start declining or whatever until he realizes he hates Toronto. But
you might as well ask for Bruce Brown too. Like, bring that man back.
no, for real, bro. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If let's say the Nuggets actually do get rid of Michael Porter Jr., then yeah, I could see like it could be like Chris Boucher, Bruce Brown, and then like Michael Porter Jr. and a couple picks for the Raptors. But like right now, I feel like they're saying they want him. I also saw that the Nuggets said they wanted Jordan Poole or Zach LaVine, and those are both just trades that I'm begging on my knees for the Nuggets not to do. No, like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I do not want those fuckers on my team.
Nah, I get it though.
All right.
All right, next one.
Yes.
All right, so my second one, um, it's gonna be now. This is who I think they should trade for, not necessarily trade away, but who I think they should trade for. It's gonna be the Pistons, and with the momentum that the Pistons have going after a younger player, another, well, maybe not young, but young-ish player. He's not called old yet, but he needs like a little rebound in his career. As he struggled with injuries in the past, but
Mhm.
I think the Detroit Pistons should trade for Colin Sexton. Now, the Utah Jazz, they ain't doing nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing probably for the next few years. So with that being said, I figure, Colin Sexton's only getting older, and I guess, like I said, with the momentum that the Pistons have in the East, he could go to a much better team as of right now, and potentially, get some more scoring output for them, for the Pistons as well, because that would also help the absence of Jaden Ivey as well. So I figured, they would complement each other, but like I said, I don't know who they would trade away in this trade, but I do think that the Pistons and Colin Sexton would be a great fit together.
That'd be crazy, bro.
Like Colin and Cade.
Yeah, because I feel like right now they have amazing scores. Now, if they can get a facilitator for those scores, bro, like the Pistons might actually be not scary, but like they might actually start regularly hitting the playoffs then, bro.
Yeah. Especially with how weak the East is right now, basically everyone below them is like the same level of play.
Yeah.
So like they just need a really good, not even a really good, just a good, I guess, role player. You know what I mean? I hate to call Colin Sexton a role player, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
like
I
he's
think
there
that could,
to score, so like they could honestly really use that
right.
considering their roster.
He
He's got
can
a very
score, but
he's got like a very tradable contract too, 18 million a year.
mhm.
Like there's a lot of options to make that happen. Like you don't have to give up like a piece of your core either. It could be like Fontecchio, Beasley, and then another young guy. Or maybe you get rid of Isaiah Stewart and a minimum contract. It's very doable for them. It's just, is Danny Ainge gonna play ball? Because he has a history of either fleecing another team or just asking ridiculous in return for a player or a pick. Especially for
Making his
Lauri
own
Markkanen.
trades.
You know,
Right.
like Colin Sexton has 2 years left on his contract. This is the year to trade him because you're going to get less in return for next year when he's got 1 year left on his contract.
Mhm.
So I don't see any reason why they would hang on to Sexton. So yeah, that would be at least a push for the Pistons in the right direction.
Mhm.
All right.
I can get to my next one because I also had Colin Sexton in the trade, but this one's a 3-team dealer right here.
Oh,
I had to plug this in the NBA trade machine to make sure the contracts work.
Not
it
the
does.
NBA trade.
I had
machine.
to, bro. I'm like, the Bucks making any trade ever is so difficult just
mhm.
because of how much money they got all at the top.
Oh yeah.
But this works. It's the Milwaukee Bucks received Colin Sexton, Kelly Olynyk, Drew Eubanks, and Johnny Juzang. Utah Jazz received Chris Middleton, 2 unprotected first-round picks. And the Toronto Raptors received Pat Connaughton, Marjon Beauchamp, a first-round protected pick, and a second-round pick.
So you blowing up the Bucks. That's what it sounds like.
No, I'm getting rid of Chris Middleton. They need to move on from him.
No, for real, bro.
And their starting shooting guard is a washed Gary Trent Jr. So they need Colin Sexton. That's some more scoring, some 3-point scoring. Then. Kelly Olynyk is a stretch 4. They always need spacing. Drew Eubanks, he's really just contract filler here, but he can play backup center. And then Johnny Juzang is another shooter. I think even if this trade doesn't work out in terms of the players, at least they're off Chris Middleton's contract, and this opens up to more in the future. The Utah Jazz get their draft capital. The Raptors move on from mainly just Kelly Olynyk, who they've been holding on for way too long throughout the years.
No,
and at least get something in return. At least Marjon Beauchamp's a young player, and they get some draft capital in return. I just need something to happen with the Bucks. I feel like it's not going to happen, but they need to find pieces here and there if they want to contend. Because even if they are I don't know if they're 5th in the East right now. 5th in the East is 11th in the West. It's not a good look for you. No one's really looking at your threat to contend for a championship today. Something has to change. Be it this or anything. Now, I don't know if it's a good trade, but it is a trade.
I mean, I guess you were only thinking about the Bucks particularly when you made this trade, correct? In interest of the Bucks, right?
Essentially, yes.
Because I'm Chris Middleton on the Jazz, his career is done for. Pat Connaughton on the Raptors, that was the 3rd team.
Yeah,
he's got not
2 years.
Much.
Yeah, he's not doing for him. These 2 teams should be tanking.
Right.
These guys aren't going to help them get better. So this is exactly what they should do.
Right. It's a strategic trade. I'll say that. It's not a bad trade, but it's very strategic for, I guess, what each team is trying to, or I guess what they need to accomplish, Colin Sexton on the Bucks. I do kind of like that though, because he's going to get a lot of veteran experience he hasn't been able to get yet. I feel like he didn't really have that rookie experience on the Cavs because everyone else was a rookie or sophomore, just relatively, in the same time as he was. So him playing alongside Dame and Giannis, that would I think that would help his NBA experience a lot more. And then on top of that, I know just with Juzang, what I know from Juzang, that would help their bench scoring a lot too. So I think that Bucks roster, if they could get remodeled like that, they might be able to make a few steps forward.
Yeah, bro. I think the biggest win for the Bucks is getting rid of Chris Middleton, bro. I just feel like they have to do that this trade deadline. Mm-hmm. If they don't, then RIP their season. Because bro, I don't know why they still have that man on the roster, to be honest. He has so much money to his name. He hasn't been the same since injury.
No, his knees are gone, bro.
It's crazy that they still have him. So I don't know. Yeah, that would be a huge W for them to get rid of Chris Middleton. All right. This is one that I kind of had in my back pocket just in case. And that is Jonas Valanciunas, bro. He's probably the only Wizard that teams might actually want. And if I'm the Wizards, bro, it's time. You want a fucking draft pick. You want a high draft pick. So I'm thinking Mitchell Robinson, always injured, bro. Don't give up on him yet, but he's always injured. If I'm the Knicks, bro, Jonas Valanciunas is looking like a fine meal. Pause. Because they can finally have a center who can do what the Knicks need, but is actually healthy enough. Now, I'm not saying he's replacing Mitchell Robinson, but now when Mitchell Robinson is down and out, it's not gonna hurt the Knicks as much as it usually does. Now they have that guy they can go to, be like, hey, Mitchell Robinson is down. Jonas, you're gonna be stepping up for us here, and he can do that, bro. He's a seasoned vet. He's been like pretty solid on every team so far, bro. Like, I feel like if I'm the Knicks, Jonas Valanciunas, like, I'm trying to snatch him up.
Yeah, like he's a big trade target for a lot of teams that want to try and improve at least a little bit.
Yeah,
Like he should have been off the bench this year behind Alex Sarr. But Alex Sarr has been low key a bum. Valanciunas has been starting and been a reliable scorer down low. That's basically what he did all throughout the Pelicans, all throughout his Grizzlies time. Even if you don't get him scoring, he's a good rebounder. He's got size. Yeah, I could see Knicks among many teams pulling this type of trade.
He's definitely over reliable, like any
sure.
team in the league could use him, I feel like. And I guess it's interesting that you say the Knicks, even though Mitchell Robinson is injury prone, because I feel like every time he plays, he still plays good. You know what I mean?
No, he's amazing, but he's always injured, bro.
Right.
Like, always injured, and like that's what I'm kind of worried about. Is I feel like the Knicks are gonna give up on him eventually. So that's what I'm kind of saying. If they get Jonas Valanciunas now, bro, like at least they can keep Mitchell Robinson like around a little bit longer. But I feel like it might.
I feel like I don't know if it would help, or it wouldn't necessarily diminish their floor spacing or like their game plan or whatever. Because like he just sits on the block and grabs a rebound and put it back.
Yeah.
So like, it would be an equal trade, like a fair, equal, even trade, however you want to say it or whatever. Because they essentially both do the same thing. They don't really shoot. I don't think Jonas can shoot threes, can he? I never really.
I don't think so, bro.
Not a high volume, but like enough to where if you leave him open, he's gonna knock it down. Like kind of like Vucevic almost. Not quite as good, but similar.
Yeah, so I guess that adds a level because Mitchell Robinson ain't shooting threes. So I guess that adds a level to the trade, but it's just, I guess for me, like envisioning him next to Cat is kind of insane. Because then Cat could literally just stay on the 3-point line.
Bro, yeah, Cat can be he can basically be a power forward.
Yeah.
So like that would be insane. It just makes me sad thinking about Mitchell Robinson not on the Knicks. But like
I think he'll stay. But I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying.
But I think the thing the Knicks will lose is that blocking.
Well, I think we're all looking at this from a GM perspective and thinking it's kind of a W for the Knicks. But Coach Thibs might not ever play Valanciunas because he doesn't play defense like he wants.
Oh, true.
Must be another trade.
And like, let's be honest, he can't move either. At least not like Mitchell Robinson. You know what I mean? Like Mitchell Robinson, he's a young player. He got ups. Like he could do it all. But Jonas, like, he's on the older side, and we know Tibbs, like, so like, I don't know, bro. Realistically, would it work? Who knows?
Yeah. I think if we factor in Tibbs, bro, like that's probably not gonna happen. Like in a perfect world, Mitchell Robinson stays healthy and they don't go for Jonas. But eventually GMs get tired of injury prone players, bro.
Yeah.
And like Jonas is looking very high value right now, bro. And like I said, the Wizards, they're pretty much ready to this, except that there's no future until they get a good draft pick. All right.
Wait, are we doing 2 or 3?
I thought we were doing 2, but if you have a third one, bro, there's no point in not doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, I'll make it an honorary one because it also includes Jonas Valanciunas, a team that really, really, really has always really, really, really needed a center. They don't have a single player that's taller than 6'10". The Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
They need to trade for. It doesn't even got to be Jonas, bro. It just got to be a 7-foot center, bro. Get Kevon Looney, maybe not necessarily off the team, but like move him down power forward, bro. Because like they just desperately need a center, a true center.
We've been saying this for years, just as long as backup center for the Nuggets. Like,
Right.
how long are you going to keep making the same mistake over and over? You don't have a single dedicated true big man when you could very well use one, especially when it comes to rebounding.
And I feel like there's plenty in the league right now, you know?
Mhm.
And I do genuinely feel like the Warriors have trade value, but then it's who are you going to trade? And it seems like they don't want to trade anybody, you know? So I don't know.
I don't know, bro. Here's my problem with the Warriors. They still think they're pretty much solid, bro. Like they don't believe that they're bad yet.
Right.
And you know whose name I've seen coming from the Warriors? Robert Williams off the Trailblazers. And you know the Warriors are like a small center. A younger small center.
Don't get me wrong, he's very good, but again, like we need 7 feet. We need someone to at least look scary, appear scary. You know what I mean? Rudy Gobert is not scary, and he's 7'87". You know what I mean? So like, we just need someone in the paint that could at least look intimidating, and we'll be fine. But the Warriors, I don't know what the Warriors ever doing.
I would be surprised if they got a good, like tall, like a good center. But like I said, they don't believe they're bad yet, bro. Like you know how many times Steve Kerr and Steph Curry are just like, we're just trying to figure things out. It's like, bro, no, you're 10th in the West, bro. You don't have time to figure things out right now.
It's also like I feel like they don't know what they're trying to do. They don't. Obviously, no team wants to rebuild, but they're also in that they're not contending. They're really not. Like, if we're being honest, the Warriors are not contending for a title. Maybe playoff contention. They're definitely play-in contention.
And I feel like
but like they're in that weird, just spot in their franchise right now. Like, what do we want to do? You know what I mean? So,
and I get you have Curry. Like at any moment, you could make it pretty far in the playoffs. But if I'm the Warriors and I'm looking at us being almost 500 for the first time in years since Curry was injured and it was just Draymond Green, like I'm not thinking, oh, we still have a chance. No, I'm seeing what can we do to get into playoffs and not have to fight through play-ins again? Because they've been a play-in team for so many times now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like ever since 2020, they've been in the play-ins more than they've been in the playoffs.
Right.
It's also like when I was trying to make a trade for them, because I genuinely tried to make a Warriors trade, but they've said they don't want to get rid of Andrew Wiggins. So that immediately rules out a Jimmy Butler trade. Like you need that contract for that to work. They don't want to get rid of Podziemski because they see potential. So they like Steph Curry, but they care more about the future because they want to keep Pods, like a sophomore who's struggling right now. Like doesn't make sense. The center thing we've already brought up. Like they have 2 paths, future or now. And instead of choosing one, they're just standing still looking at the paths.
Yeah, no, they
don't know which way they want to go.
Jonas would be amazing for them, though. If they do pick up Valanciunas, bro, Steve Kerr, you can have your job for one more year. Like,
let's see what you do with him for a full year.
Yeah. Because, like, that would be amazing for the Warriors to just have a traditional center again, bro.
And like back when they did have one, Andrew Bogut, like he was pretty solid for them. Like he was a part of like their success. So I don't know why they've been so resistant against this idea.
but he was also a unique center who he was like a pass first center almost. You know what I mean? So he
Yeah.
fit in that system really well. And as a center, we don't really see that, or even just a big man, we don't really see that a lot in the league. So
It's somehow Zaza's fault, bro. I don't know how, but it's somehow his fault. That was because that was after Bogut, wasn't it? Or was that
I think
before
so.
Bogut?
There was some crossover, but I think Zaza was the last man standing at one point.
Yeah, so Bogut was good, Zaza was bad, and they were like, "Oh well, I guess that's it." Do you have an honorable mention, Vaughn?
I do because this would never happen. But you got Brandon Ingram for Julius Randle, just straight up player wise, and then maybe attach a protected first round pick because Julius Randle and the Timberwolves is actually hurting the team. He doesn't get along with Rudy Gobert. It's like team chemistry minus 500 right now. Like it doesn't make sense to try and force this experiment to work. It's not going to. And I don't think there's going to be a much trade value for Brandon Ingram in the sense of draft picks like the Pelicans want, only because this is Brandon Ingram's last year of his contract. And they don't want to sign him to an extension. So at least you don't lose him for nothing, which is probably what's inevitable. And we've seen Julius Randle on the Pelicans before. Like, he could do something. Now
They're going back to their teams, bro.
right. And then this is just in the scenario they tear it all down because this man right here is a problem. I tried making a trade for Zion Williamson. It just doesn't work. If you're a contending team, you don't want to gut your roster for him because he's got a fat contract and you don't even know if he's going to play. He has not touched playoffs since coming into the NBA. His team has, he hasn't. So we don't even know if he'll get exposed come playoff time. And then if you are a team going for Cooper Flag and Zion does play, he's going to help you not get Cooper Flag, So the only scenario is like the Bulls. The Bulls are delusional. They don't want to tear it all down like they should. At least for like they should. And then Zion, they love ticket sales, and Zion will bring ticket sales. That's the only justification for a team out there. And then once Zion's gone, this Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram trade can happen. That's a lot of ifs. So a lot of ifs that have to happen.
Bro, you know how sad this makes me seeing the Pelicans get destroyed like this? You know how sad this makes me for Zion to be such a huge bust, bro. Like, I had all the faith in the world for him when he first got drafted, bro. And it's just getting, bro, you can't defend this man anymore. When he was getting asked, oh, what do you like on Thanksgiving? And he couldn't answer because he was afraid of getting bullied. At this point, bro, I can't have sympathy for him because he doesn't help us.
I think he still has time to prove himself though. And I really hope he does.
I think he has time to be a solid player, but I don't think he'll ever be an all-star MVP caliber player like we thought he would be.
No, I thought he was going to be the face of the NBA. I thought that's who he was going to
be. I gave up on him. I was like Ben Simmons fans. I just wouldn't give up on him. And this year, I had no choice but to give up on him.
I will say it is a sad sight.
Yeah.
It's such a cycle though that it's just like he's got his big bag, he's got his money, like he'll never have to work again. So like even though some of his money's not guaranteed, he doesn't have to fight for that. Like there's that weight clause, he has to stay under a weight for a certain amount of time. I don't even know if he's on pace to beat that because it's the cycle of get injured, can't really work out or nothing, so he puts on weight, comes back not fully 100%, gets injured, and then it just happens every year. And I don't know if you can even break that curse once you're in it. I think this is just how it is for the rest of his career.
Sad, bro. Sad.
Yeah, what broke me was this year. I'm like, Zion's healthy. all of the Pelicans are healthy, and like, was it game 1 he missed?
Yeah. My honorable mention was a Cameron Johnson trade. I didn't bring it up because I don't really know who for what and like all the nitty gritty. I just think the Cavs, bro, they have a chance to really, really, really do good in the playoffs. And if I'm looking at Cameron Johnson and I'm the Cavs and I'm like, you know what? We kind of need more scoring. We need someone who can keep up the pace when Donovan Mitchell's off the court. Bro, Cameron Johnson's looking like a that guy to do that for them.
I think a lot of people could use Cam Johnson, low key.
I think
he needs to get out of there somehow.
yeah, no, for real. I think he's the second best. I get the Jonas hype, but bro, I think he's like it goes Butler, then Cameron Johnson, bro. I think he's the second best guy up for grabs this trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Especially considering like every year Levine is in talks, never gets traded. Vooch is in talks to get traded, never gets traded. But Cameron Johnson is very well like not in that hemisphere. Like it's possible. Like go and grab him if you need him.
And I feel like the Cavs do, bro. You want to keep up that pace that kind of disappears when your 5 is off. Okay, Cameron Johnson. I feel like you would be able to like they could if they grab Cameron Johnson, I'm start looking at them as a conference finals threat. Like they might actually get to the finals. But that's my honorable mention because I don't know who for what. And yeah, I just know the Nets on draft picks. The Cavs are doing pretty decently that I don't think they need draft picks. But I just don't know who the Cavs would give up. All right. I think that's all we have for today. If you're listening on audio format, make sure you give us that good old 5 stars. Leave a review on all podcast platforms. So make sure you keep up there. For video format, we are on YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe. We're on all social media platforms, so make sure you check us out there for clips and episode updates. TikTok is getting banned. I have no idea. I haven't been posting on TikTok because of this. It takes a lot of effort to make those clips, and I don't want to keep posting it to a platform that's going to disappear tomorrow or yesterday for the viewers. So I'm going to find a place to post our clips. I just don't know yet for sure. Red Note is looking pretty fine right now, bro. Like we might have to the Guangdong Tigers, here we come, bro.
Shanghai Sharks.
The Shanghai Sharks. We might have to start covering the CBL, bro. All right.
We got the Red Note, the Lemonade. Hey, we still got YouTube Shorts, bro.
Yeah,
Instagram
YouTube
Reels,
Shorts,
bro.
All right. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again next week.